Mismatched Auctions recently held a showcase auction for the Louis Rose Error Currency Collection. Here are some of the highlights. The first note we will look at is one of the most dramatic errors you are likely to come across: a missing face print error. Fortunately, the back of the note is still perfectly printed, and thanks to the seals on the face, we know that this is meant to be a Cleveland $10 bill, although the series is a bit of a mystery as the entire face block was never printed, leaving basically a blank note. PCGS Banknotes authenticated this piece with a grade of gem uncirculated 66, and at auction it sold for $990. On the face, this does appear to be a normal 1950, albeit fairly high-grade $10 note from the Alabama Fed. But when examining the back, it soon becomes very clear that this error note is a lovely end-of-roll error that has a well-centered face and a severely misaligned back that includes not only a sliver of an adjacent note, but also a wide top margin where the sheet and position numbers both are still intact. Graded by PMG as choice uncirculated 65 with exceptional paper quality, at the auction it sold for the sum of $1,260. Printed fold errors are not exactly unheard of, but this note is really something special. A lovely G4 plate position error note that had a large fold over after the face printing, but before the third printing took place. The treasury seal, virtually the entire serial number, and parts of the left serial number are all found on the back of the note as a result. And what makes it stand out is the fact that the fold-over back section, two smaller sections of two separate notes. This 1974 $20 bill was graded by PMG as choice uncirculated 64 and changed hands at auction for $1,440. So, printed fold-over notes are fascinating to try and decipher. This one was on the 1969 New York Reserve $5. This would have been the E3 sheet position note, where the corner got folded over during printing. The upper right corner folded over, and thus a portion of the right serial number, part of the treasury seal, and a district number were all printed on the back of the note. Also, the foldover remained during the cutting process, and the note retained the part of the top salvage that includes the sheet number of 41966. Graded by PMG as choice uncirculated 64, this note sold at auction for $1,560. And now for the first appearance of Ulysses S. Grant's $50 on this list. We have a note that is an excellent example of an inverted printing error. Specifically on this note, the back of the note was printed upside down and is shifted so that it looks like the bill was cut incorrectly when only viewing it from the back. This $50 from 1988 was graded by PMG as choice uncirculated 63 with exceptional paper quality and was sold at auction for $1,800. Another variety, or error type, that is extremely popular with collectors, and one that might not be immediately apparent if you're not paying close enough attention at least, is the misaligned serial numbers error type. In this case, we have a $1988 from the Chicago Fed. Not only that, but this is a rare star note to boot, with two mismatched serial numbers, where the first two numeral digits are not the same. This piece was graded by PCGS Currency as Gem New 66, and at auction it sold for the sum of $2,040. This note, I'm frankly at a bit of a loss to explain exactly what happened. At first glance, it appears to be a foldover error with the H Federal Reserve seal for St. Louis, but it also has 2 seals and only 1 serial number and signature. We can only assume that there must have been another note on top of this one that absorbed the missing parts of the seal and the missing bank identifiers, for instance. This rare and interesting error note was graded by PMG as choice uncirculated 63 with exceptional paper quality, and at auction it sold for $2,160. Banknotes are typically printed in stages, with different design elements or security features added at each subsequent stage. For the 1969 Federal Reserve notes, the Treasury seal and serial numbers are all added during the 3rd printing of the note. On this note, the 3rd printing was accidentally added on the back of the note instead of the face, resulting in this overprint or 3rd printing on back error $100 bill, graded by PMG as choice uncirculated 63 with exceptional paper quality. At auction, it managed to raise $2,160. This 1995 New York Federal Reserve Lincoln $5 bill constitutes a major error note, with a very dramatically misaligned printing on both the face and back of the note. The printing is offset about 30% on both sides. However, the 3rd printing, which is responsible for the green Federal Reserve seal, bank identifiers, and serial numbers, was properly centered, placing the green seal just towards the left of Lincoln's face on this case. Graded by PMG as gem uncirculated 64 with exceptional paper quality, this rare error note was sold at auction for $3,840. Since the $2 Federal Reserve notes are already fairly uncommon, it is naturally quite rare to find an error note from this denomination as a result, let alone a 1976 bicentennial note at that. The fact that this is the only $2 bill on this list is telling within its own right. In this case, we are looking at another printed fold over or printed fold error note, where the bottom right corner was folded over and the entire treasury seal and a small portion of the serial number was printed on a section of the back of the note. Graded by PMG as gem uncirculated 66 with exceptional paper quality, it sold at auction for $4,080. Coin collectors, especially those interested in varieties, will be familiar with double die coins. Well, I suppose the equivalent in the banknote world are what is known as doubled print errors, as with this 1977 Hamilton $20 bill. This error happens when the note is accidentally printed twice, with most elements, excluding the serial numbers and seals, affected, and printed 2 times on this note. You can see that this was done with the same faceplate, numbered B238, with a fair degree of separation between the 2 printings. Graded by PMG as gem uncirculated 65 with exceptional paper quality. When the auctioneer's gavel struck, this lot had sold for $6,000. And there is no need to adjust your screen, as this is yet another doubled print error note. This time, however, it is struck on a 1977 $10 bill, the doubling being a bit less jarring than the previous example, but with the second printing taking place just slightly towards the north of the first. But unlike the previous example, this second inking on this note took place with a completely different set of faceplates. As you can see here, the first was numbered F334, and then it was overprinted with number F351. The back of the note is in perfect condition and remains unaffected by the doubled print error. Graded by PMG as gem uncirculated 66 with exceptional paper quality at auction. This Hamilton $10 from the Boston Reserve managed to sell for $7,200. Subscribe to WNN and remember to click the bell icon to activate notifications so you'll know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.